Hello everyone and welcome to I'll Be Sewing. My name is Gina. So we did the video for the mask and a lot of you wanted different sizes. So I decided to create a couple more sizes for you guys. And also I want to show you guys a couple steps how to sew the masks a little faster. So if you trying to sew them for family and friends or for healthcare, whatever you're trying to do, and you're trying to make them a little bit faster. So I'll give you a couple tricks. Also, a few of you didn't like the way I did the elastic, or it's not like you guys didn't like the way, just you had a hard time putting the two tips together and sewing it. So I'm going to show you a different way that you can attach that elastic right into the mask. So I'm going to show you the sizes that I've made. So I have here, this is a small size. I have here, this is for a child and it's for age 3 to 5. And we will be putting the link down on the description of the video so you can print the template. Then I did also the size for children again, and this is the size that I have here, and it's a 6 to 10. Then we have the original one that I've done in the other video. I'm also going to put it down, this one here also on the description of the video if you want to print it. And this one is small medium, and then I created a larger one since a lot of you wanted a larger one. So we created one a lot larger. So if someone have a little bit more of a bigger face, or for a gentleman that wants to use a mask, so I created it a little bit larger. So as you see, the children, I didn't do, I only did, the biggest one was 6 to 10. From 10 up, you can definitely use the one that I already had as a small medium. And instead of sewing 1/4 inch, sew 1/2 inch, and that will give you a good size for a 10 to 16 type of thing. So I'm gonna show you how to cut it, because a few of you also were telling me that I didn't show any instructions about cutting it. So I have 2 pieces of fabric here, and I have my original pattern that I did before. So what we're gonna do here is, so the fabric, you're gonna have it on the fold like that, so wrong sides together. You're gonna get your pattern and you're gonna follow the instructions and join. You're gonna join the back piece. You're gonna join this back piece here to this part here. Let's join piece A and join piece with piece B, and then you're gonna end up with a piece like this. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and put this on top of your fabric. I normally just use a rotary cutter, but you can definitely use put a couple pins or something, and so it stays in place, and cut it. I normally use the cutter because I find with the rotary cutter, a small one, it goes a lot faster. So I just go around just like that. And I have my piece, so I end up with 2 pieces. So then you're gonna do the pocket for the filter. You do the same thing, having your both fabrics fold the wrong sides together like that. Put the piece on top, and you're gonna go ahead and cut your filter, your pocket. So it's very simple. So in order to speed up the process, what I suggest is you're gonna cut several of them, as many as you want to make, and then when you go to the sewing machine, we're gonna sew them all at one time to save time. So I'm only going to show you 2 of them because I don't want to be here sewing and you guys watching for a long time. But I'm going to show you how I do mine and how fast they go. In my case here, I did cut some interfacing. Some of you don't like using interfacing, and that's fine. You don't have to. It's just an option. I like using interfacing on mine, but don't feel like you have to. If you don't want to, don't do it. So I'm going to go ahead and fuse those to my wrong side, the wrong side of my fabric here for my pocket. And I'm going to bring the sewing machine and I'm going to show you how to sew it and save time on so you can make a lot more of them. Okay? So I have my 2 masks here to get started, and I also went ahead and cut the elastics that I need. So I cut 4 pieces, so 2 for each mask. Of 8 inches long, and I'm using a 1/4 of an inch elastic, but you can use 1/8 of an inch or whatever you have available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my mask here, so I'm going to go ahead, and what I want to do is whatever quantities of masks that I'm doing, I want to put these already right sides together, ready to sew like that, and I will pile them up on top of each other. So ready to sew. Also, I will do the same thing. As you see, I'm putting one and the other. I get my pocket. I'm gonna do the same thing, right sides together, ready to sew. And I'm gonna go ahead, put them like this, and also gonna put it here, ready to sew. The same thing with this one, and ready to sew. If you're not using interfacing, you can just use your fabric, you do the same thing. If you're using a second layer of fabric, I would suggest you join the 2 fabrics and maybe do a top stitch around just to secure it in place if it's easier for you to sew it, or you can just lay it on top, one in each side, and you know that they're going to be attached together. So then you do it like that, and you put it like that. After you have all your pieces set up like that, you're gonna go put it in the machine, and you're really just gonna go ahead, put one here. I'm gonna put my machine on, and I'm using a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and I'm gonna go ahead and sew my mask. Back stitch beginning and end. You're gonna grab your next piece. You're gonna do the same thing. So you're gonna put it together, and before you even take it off, you go ahead and add the next piece. Remember back stitch. Grab your pocket, same thing. And you're going to keep going and doing all the masks that you have. You're going to keep going and going and keep sewing them up like this. Next one. So you're going to end up with them attached like that. So that's... we use this method a lot in quilting when we're doing squares, or it just speeds up the process, so you don't have to keep cutting and trimming. So then after you have all of this here done, you're gonna separate them, put them to the side, and you're gonna start doing the edges here. I normally don't take it to the iron. It's a mask. It's not a huge deal. So what I do is I just go ahead and I fold a little edge about a 1/4 of an inch and another 1/4 of an inch, and I go ahead and just put it through the sewing machine. So what you can do, if you find it hard to do it that way, just press with your finger about that, and then fold again, and then you can put it through the machine. If you need pins, go ahead and use pins. Then you're going to grab the next one. I'm not going to take that one from the machine. You're going to do the same thing. Fold and fold. Do my pockets, the same thing. One side, fold and fold. This is what we call chain piecing. And fold. So you're going to go ahead and separate them, and we're going to repeat the same process to the other side. To the other side. And normally when I do masks, sometimes I'm sewing 10 or a bigger amount, so I just sit on the machine and I just keep doing it this way. I find that I get a lot more accomplished. Okay, I hope you like to do it this way, and but whatever way you do it, I'm sure will be fine. Again, we're going to separate them. Keep pockets to one side and fronts to the other side. And then we're going to start joining them. So right side of the mask with right side of the pocket. You're going to match the tops over here. Okay, I don't think I backstitched here. Just make sure you backstitch when you chain piecing them. So you're gonna go ahead and again make sure the curve part is to the top. You're gonna match this part here, put it together, and you're gonna go ahead and join it. Backstitch, and so you end up with something like this. Now we're gonna go ahead and let me see if I show you, because I have the sewing machine kind of in the way. But so you have something like that. Now we're going to do the bottom. Same thing, we're going to match these two seams here, this part here and that part there, and we're going to sew across. Back stitch. Second one, the same thing. Okay, gonna join that. Gonna go here, so join it there and join it there. So you're matching the seam here with right sides together. and do the bottom. So what you want to make sure is that you backstitch here and here on these ends here. So then you have your mask something like that. Okay. I have a thread here. Let me just trim it. So now we're going to do this. The top of our mask here, we have like this. You're going to go ahead and we're going to fold this to match here. So this part here has to be even here and it has to be even down here. Just folding it like that. So you're going to go ahead and put that there and we're going to sew it. You're going to backstitch there, but we're not going to take it out of the sewing machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fold this one also to here. So where it's matching here and here. See, I'm folding. I'm going to go ahead and sew this all the way around again. And I'm already going to sew this side. So I'm not even going to take out of the sewing machine. I'm not going to take it out. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. And I'm get my next one. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start with the top part. Fold here. Make it even. Put it on the machine. I'm chain piecing it. I'm going to start here. So, back stitch. Fold this one in again. Make this even here and here. As soon as I know they're even, I can go ahead and sew the rest. And I'm going to follow the seam allowance that I already had. And if you have a lot of masks, you're going to keep adding them in. Okay, since I'm only doing 2, so you're going to end up with something like this. They're attached like that, just the bottom is not sewed yet. So we're going to go ahead and separate them. And then we're going to do the bottom. So the bottom is where the elastic comes in. Okay, so I have my mask like that. This part hadn't been sewed yet. I only sewed the top. I'm going to get my elastic. From the fold here, from the fold that we have here, I'm going to go about 1 inch in. So I'm going to go ahead here and about 1 inch in. Let's see if I can show you. And this would be my fold. I'm going to put the elastic there on top of each other, like folded like that. Okay, in there. And you're gonna do about 1 inch, more or less 1 inch. It does a little bit more, a little bit less. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna make a huge difference. Okay, 3/4 to 1 inch is fine. So you're gonna go ahead and sew there. So you're gonna start sewing the side, the bottom. Back stitch, really well over that elastic so it doesn't come off. And then we're gonna do the same thing we did to the top. We're gonna keep going. Here we're gonna back stitch. We're gonna adjust this side here, this part here where this fold is. We're gonna go ahead and sew that there. Before you get to the end, you gotta touch the other elastic. I went a little bit too far. So I need to take a couple stitches out and insert my elastic. Okay, so on this side also, 1 inch in from the fold here. Okay, let's see if you can see. I went a little too far and sewed it before adding the elastic. You're gonna do the elastic again. You're gonna fold that elastic and you're gonna put it in here. I'll show you on the next one again because I went a little bit too fast and passed the elastic. About 1 inch in from the bottom, we're gonna go ahead and sew that. So don't take your mask off. You get the next one, do the same thing. So we're gonna do the same thing. Get the elastic. This is folded like that, about 1 inch from the fold. Add that in. So now, this is where, before I messed up, I'm going to open that up. And I'm going to add my elastic in. And go ahead and sew it. So, trim any excess that you have, separate them, and we're going to turn it to the right side. Oh, this still has elastic here. I trim it. So, I'm going to turn it to the right side. So as you see, your mask stays like this, and you see the elastic is in the ends like this. Okay, so you can go ahead and press it on the iron, and it's up to you if you want to do a top stitch. Some people don't do a top stitch, some people like doing a top stitch. It's entirely up to you. So what are you going to do with the elastic now? You're going to do this. Goes around here like that, you see, and you're gonna go ahead and fold over this end and sew, and your elastic is in there. All right, so you're gonna do that to both sides to your mask. If you're doing a top stitch and you already press, you can sew down and go all the way around. Get to this side. When you get here, do the same thing. Here, elastic will go like that, perfectly around. You're gonna fold this, okay, and you can go ahead, sew down this way, and all the way around to the other end if you're doing top stitch. If you don't want to do top stitch, it's fine too. Some people like a top stitch, some people don't like a top stitch. So I'm just going to show you. So you sew here and you sew that one. As you see, the elastic stays inside. And this one I actually don't have a top stitch, so it's okay if you don't want to do a top stitch. Also, the nose piece, the metal piece, some people like it, some people don't want it. Again, it's optional. If you want something that you sew in, you add something to sew in. If you want to add something sew only a little line here and have the option of removing it to wash, that's fine too. It's entirely up to you how you build the rest of your mask. So I hope I gave you enough tips to produce these really fast. And as you see, I did two quite fast. I have my other one here. I only have to do the elastic, but they go quite fast if you cut ahead and plan it and just sit in the sewing machine and keep it just on sewing them one after another. Well, we'll see you next time for another video, and happy sewing, everyone.